Hi everyone, we're still with Parable Games because we've got Sisterhood. Now, if you've been off social media for a couple of hours, this is doing its rounds. I've shared so much of it already. So, with Charlie again, and the best way I've described it is running nuns with guns.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So Sisterhood, it's 1950s hard-boiled nuns fighting demons, punching them in the teeth and trying to stop the apocalypse. So the whole idea with this is that you're playing as like a clandestine organisation of nuns who have been recruited kind of into the church and siphoned off to try and stop the end of the world. That is being pitched for by, you've got the horsemen of the apocalypse, rebel angels, demons. After World War II, when they felt the world should have ended and it didn't, they're now making their own play for it. And the last line of defence is the Sisterhood. It's this group of gnarly nuns. So this is our free quick start guide. If you go to our back kit, it's live now, it's completely funded, and we're slaying stretch goals as we speak, which is wonderful. If you go and give that a follow, you get a free digital version of this quick start. If you catch us at any conventions as well, and you've backed the project, come pick up this free physical version of the quick start as well. But it's a really cool, pulpy, fast action kind of game where you're playing these badass nuns and you're going and investigating cults and trying to stop them from bringing about the end of the world. Really easy system to learn. In terms of, I flip back to a character sheet, we have a dice assignment system where basically you're taking a polyhedral set and you're assigning dice to where you're strong, whether it's your faith, your cunning, your empathy, or your fortitude. You start off with a d10, 2 d8s, and a d6, and it's, for the vast majority, a roll against system where you're rolling against our version of a GM who is called the Mother Superior. One of the also really cool funky things with this is most RPGs have been kind of grid-based combat. We have developed something very different. So this is the Way of the Cross, as we're calling it. So this is how all of the sisters who are trained in the Sisterhood see the battlefield. So this could be a ruined church, it could be an abandoned trench system, it could be a festering kind of abandoned French town that's been invaded by a cult. But as soon as a fight breaks out, this is how the Sisterhoods view the battlefield. So in terms of setting up your maps and stuff to do a combat, ultimately you lay out these two maps. Our adventures tend to tell you where your enemies are placed. You deploy your sisters onto the map, and it becomes a really fast-paced, tactically fueled kind of combat simulator that is more about how the sisters are thinking tactically about the combat. So, for example, say I've got a sister in flank and they move into hidden successfully. A player could describe, say we're in a church, it'd be like, I dive behind like a darkened pillar and I start running through the shadows in the alcove. And it's like, you know, we don't have that representation kind of physically on the map, but conceptually it's allowing you to kind of play more into that theatre of the mind. So if you like theatre of the mind, but you like your tactical combat as well, this can be a perfect way to blend the two together and basically have your table set up in 5 minutes and ready to actually bring that kind of fight to the tabletop.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's questions that go like,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's done from the perspective of one of the sisters, and this is how my brain's working right now. So is that done from my perspective, say, and then I see the bad guy here, but then I'm going to jump across this way. Absolutely. From my point of view.
Yeah. So think about it. So we kind of like modern combat. Like everything's kind of more of a firefight, isn't it? In terms of like kind of when with nuns and they've got guns and that's what's involved. The sisters are going to be stronger in the cross side, and that's where they start. And your enemies are going to be stronger in the pentagram. You can move across any of these areas. Fighting physically in the pentagram is harder. Fighting in the cross for the nuns is stronger. And the same is the flip for your enemies as well.
Okay.
So what we have found by doing it this way, rather than kind of having a grid-based combat where people tend to get we find some players get quite overwhelmed with rules, and they end up planning very much their own turn. They play it out, they stop, and then it's very much the next person's turn. There's not really much conversation around the table about what they're actually doing. With this, we've made it so movement, control of space, shunting enemies somewhere, you know, breaking certain routes so enemies can't move in certain areas is really important. So knowing what your fellow sisters can do and how to synergize off of their abilities is really important and gets everyone around the table chatting. So for example, like So we've got a sister fighting a cultist in here. Maybe they use an ability to shunt a cultist kind of into here, who gets hit by the sister who's got a baseball bat, knocks them into here, where a sister is waiting with a shotgun to do the finishing blow. So already from kind of like looking at all of those little abilities, you've not only had an absolutely kick-ass moment, everyone around the table has gotten involved, they've talked about it, you've worked as a team, and you've done it in a super, super fast way as well. So that's what it's all about, is trying to make physical combat on the tabletop more collaborative. And by doing it, and we found it by reducing the map element and making it more conceptual, we're finding players are working together and kind of really representing that strong bond of the Sisterhood to go punch demons in the teeth, which is great fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes it... What are the best one to describe it as? More free-flowing combat, so your sisters could be looking amazing, taking minion, and the big boss comes in as a less like warmed up, and they're like, let's take him. And you've got that massive build up around the table. That's really good.
Especially when you've got certain areas that are slightly different in the crosshair. So having ritual, big bads getting summoned is definitely something that your sisters are trying to stop. And your big bads, your demons, your horsemen, when they appear, it can get kind of really fraught and really, really interesting when you're dealing with a bigger enemy on the table.
That's amazing. So this one is going to BackerKit.
Yes, so this one is live on BackerKit now. We funded in 2 hours. It's been our fastest funding project so far. But if you want to kind of jump in, help us unlock some more stretch goals. One of the stretch goals we've already unlocked is we are summoning a demon together as a community. So we're sending out polls at the moment for our backers where you can pick from certain options, and basically the game where you fold over the kind of paper and draw different parts of a demon. We're doing that with loads of different elements, and then I'm going to write that demon's backstory, and Ben is going to illustrate a unique demon that our community has created together.
That's awesome. I kind of like that concept, because then it's a manipulation of people's ideas, but they don't know what's come before them.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's great.
And I think we have literally just unlocked Summon a Saint as well. So we're doing patron saints of the Sisterhood, so like secret saints of this order. So you're going to get to design your own saints as well with us too.
Nice. That's amazing. Okay. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you.